everyone, this is Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, and I wanted to create this little video to talk about a kind of an unusual question that we got in customer service. This question had to do with there was a gentleman who had designed his own Newtonian telescope, and he, it's really cool to make your own telescope and everything like that. I've done it. Lots of my friends have done it. And, in designing something like that, you can really pick the, really kind of custom components and design it exactly the way that you want to. But it is a little tricky. And part of the trickiness comes down to where the focal point, where the end point of the focus, where you're at your precise focus for infinity. What distance is that from the tube assembly and the focuser, in the telescope? In a Cassegrain telescope or a refractor, of course, it's coming out from the back of the tube. And so you want to make sure that you have a focuser that has the right amount of draw, so that you can get the widest range of eyepieces, for example, or you want to hit the exact right range for a camera, for example. So that all comes into play. If you're designing a Newtonian telescope, the Newtonian telescope, like this is a Newtonian mirror right here. This is a 10-inch f4.5 mirror. That focal length, of course, comes out to where, if we're focused on a star, wherever the star comes to focus, okay? But in a Newtonian telescope, we have that little 45-degree mirror that's making the image go to the side out to an eyepiece. So you have to know exactly where to put that diagonal, and you have to know where to drill the hole in the side of your tube. Now, I'm not going to give you a whole tutorial on this because there are telescope making books on how to do this, okay? But if you've already gone ahead and made a design and everything, you do need to pay attention to where that focal point is, the focal length of the telescope, where it's going to come out from the telescope, okay? And you want to have whatever focuser you're picking to when the focuser is about halfway in its draw, not all the way in, not all the way out, maybe about halfway, you want to have it to where the focal length actually comes out from that eyepiece to the point of where it would reach focus in an eyepiece, okay? And so telescopes and eyepieces and binoculars and camera lenses and all the rest of it have a focal length, I brought some little magnifying glasses, and maybe you can see this right here. I have a ring light that's in front of me. And if I adjust the distance here on my hand, you can see that the lights, it's kind of hard to do on the camera, but here we're way out of focus. Here we're getting into sharper focus, okay? When it hits precise focus, whatever that distance is from the lens down to the point where I can see the light, okay, that is the focal length of that lens. And in this case, I don't know, it looks like it's about 2.5 inches, something like that. This is a 26 millimeter eyepiece, okay? And if I bring the light down on my hand, you can see that I'm getting to a focus here. If you look underneath the rubber eye cup there, okay, you can see I'm getting down to a focus. And that's about 26 millimeters or 1 inch. 1 inch is 24.5 millimeters, okay? So I believe that's right. Anyhow, the question is that from a telescope maker to us was, what is the focal point of our eyepieces? Okay, now that's not an easy question to answer because all eyepieces focus at what's called their field stop. And I'm going to show you this particular eyepiece, this is a Plossl, okay? And that ring right here, this shiny part that you see is the field stop. And the lenses are focused to look at precisely, it's at 26 millimeters to that field stop, okay? So when you look at an eyepiece, you see like a nice sharp black border. The reason why it looks sharp and black is that you're looking at that field stop, okay? Well, what makes this all tricky is that some field stops are called virtual field stops, okay? And they're actually in between the lenses. And so you can't just stick a caliper or a ruler to find out where this depth is in relation to where the eyepiece sits. Okay, so we look, this is the anatomy of an eyepiece right here. Okay, you can see the actual lens elements. We cut one of our wide field eyepieces in half and put the lenses back in there so you can see what's going on. But the field stop in this particular eyepiece is about right here. It's actually in the top, okay? But it's in between the lenses themselves. And so that's an actual mechanical field stop in between lenses, but there's also field stops that are in between lens elements, okay? Where there's no mechanical field stop. That's a little bit weird, but it does work. And so what this customer wanted to know is okay, when the eyepiece sits into the focuser, where is this field stop? And this is not a specification that most customers want to know. It is something that is often not specified, but we are going to get that information and put it on our website for people who are telescope makers. I wanted to kind of let you know about this particular feature, but it's not an easy answer, so that's the deal today. And I'll be back with other questions from customers, that could probably use some video explanation. So hopefully that helps for you for today. I put down a link to Explore Scientific Eyepieces where you can learn about them. I have a guide on how to choose and use eyepieces, which is a video that's there that you can check out, and that should help you. If you have more questions, of course, you can contact customer service on our live chat on our website, or you can go to 866-252-3811 and choose the right option for customer service, and we'll be happy to help you. But we'll try to collect some interesting questions from customers on selecting the right gear for their astronomy or their adventure. We do all different kinds of things here as well. We have binoculars and spotting scopes and thermal imaging devices and all kinds of stuff. But we have all the resources to get you information when you need it. We have been very busy at Explore Scientific getting ready for the annular eclipse that will happen this October. We'll race across the United States. It's going to be going across Texas as well. And then 6 months later, we have the April total eclipse that's going to happen, which will race across the United States, along the eastern side of the United States. And we have one spot in the country where both eclipses are going to pass. And so we're calling that the crossroads of the eclipses star party. If you go to explorescientific.com/eclipse, you'll see all of our eclipse products, but you'll also see this event. And so if you've been looking for a place to go, we are all set up for it, and we look forward to having you attend those events. What else is going on? Something I found interesting today was a video about Neptune, and I think it's Neptune, and The clouds are disappearing from this planet. So let's take a look. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Anyways, I'll show it to you next time. And in the meantime, keep looking up and send in your questions to us. Take care. So it's a beautiful sunny day, and we have our refractor out, and I've got my eclipse glasses on, and I've got my safe solar filter. Of course, the eclipse is not here yet, but I wanted to take a few minutes just to show you some things about solar filter safety. The filters that we use is the Thousand Oaks material. It is rated to the highest ISO standards. And actually independently tested by us as well. So just to make sure that those standards are met. So if you're going to use a telescope to look at the partial phases, and let me underline partial phases to you, you use eclipse glasses to observe the sun in partial phases when it's in total. If you're going to be on the path of totality, you can take the glasses off, and only during that time, which is going to be roughly 2 minutes this time on August 21st, only during that time can you directly look up at where the sun is, because it's completely blocked out. You'll see the corona, you'll see, lots of really cool effects they'll leave you speechless. But during all the partial phases, you have to have safe solar filtration. So how do you do it properly? Let me show you. First off, let's show you what you shouldn't do. What you shouldn't do is put on eclipse glasses and look through the telescope that's unfiltered. And I'll show you exactly why here. We're going to point the telescope directly at the sun. And right now, we have sunlight coming right through the eyepiece. I can turn that up a little bit. If you use solar glasses,
and look right at the filter material, you see it's already burning. It's burning a hole right through the solar filter material. That is how powerful a telescope is. So this is definitely something you don't want to do. You can now see that there is a hole through there, and that could be your eye. So this is what can happen if you think that you can use eclipse glasses to look through unfiltered telescopes or binoculars. If you do that, the sun's energy is going to burn right through the filter and burn right into your eye. So if you're going to use a telescope or a pair of binoculars to watch the partial phases of a total eclipse, or just to observe the sun to look for sunspots or something like that, make sure that you are using an over-the-lens solar filter that has the proper ISO safety rating and all of that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this filter on. It's you can see how snugly it's fitting here. This is not about to come off, but you know, if you have a loose-fitting filter, use tape. Do anything that you can to make sure that the filter's not going to come off. And then the other thing is too is that finder scopes, optical finder scopes are like little telescopes, and they need to be filtered as well. In this case, I just have a red dot finder. There is no magnifying power to it, so I'm not going to use it to sight the sun in. The way I'm going to sight in the sun is literally as I'm going to look down at the shadow and align the scope up so I'm getting the smallest shadow possible of the telescope as it's hitting the ground. And now I can safely look at the sun in comfort and look at sunspots, and if we have partial phases going on in the eclipse, I'll see them all.